All right, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for your patience. This is the State Expedited Accusations calendar in the State Court of Fulton County, Georgia. I am Judge Melanie Williams, and today we will address bonds for misdemeanor offenses for those individuals who have been recently arrested, but their cases have already been formally accused and bound over to state court. All defendants, you have an absolute right to remain silent. Anything you say regarding the facts of your case can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney today. When I ask if you understand your rights, that is what I am referring to. All participants, this proceeding is being broadcast over the internet as a live stream. It's also being recorded. Excuse me. That means any member of the public can log on and watch. All right. Who do we have first?
Your Honor, the reset date for the SAP calendar is going to be May 7th.
Thank you. Those who receive a signature bond will be reset for the notice. Those who receive surety or cash will be reset to state all purpose on the 7th, whereby aspects of the case, including bond and contact other provisions, can be revisited. Thank you, Ms. Bridgewater.
You're welcome.
All right. Who do we have first?
Your Honor, we're going to go to position number 11, Ms. Quincy Howard.
All right, and I see Ms. Chancey is on the line. Has the defendant who needs interpretation been interviewed?
No, Your Honor, that's Mr. Dardon, and he has not been interviewed yet.
All right, will we be able to move him such that Ms. Chancey can help facilitate the interview soon?
Your Honor,
All right.
that's already in process.
Thank you. All right, Ms. Howard, your case is 24 CR 002150Y. You're charged with simple battery, family violence. You understand your rights?
Let's say something.
Yes, Hardy.
Okay, Ms. Hardy, can I please have the history?
This defendant has 9 arrest cycles out of Georgia. Their last arrest was July the 8th, 2021 out of Gwinnett for obstruction and theft by shoplifting. They have an open case in DeKalb for simple battery family violence. The recommendation from pretrial is a UJR level 2, nothing further.
Okay. Mr. Graham, please proceed.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. This incident took place on March 31st, 2024. Law enforcement responded to a dispute call at Simpson Street Church of Christ. It's located 800 Joseph V. Boone Boulevard in Atlanta. Upon arrival, the officer spoke with Tiffany Howard. She advised that she was at the church helping with the children when her daughter, Quincy Howard, showed up. She was standing in front of the elevator and began to yell. She also followed her around, continuing to harass her. Once she returned back from the kitchen to the elevator, she began pushing and kicking her. Other church members had to pull Miss Howard away from from Miss Quincy Howard away from her mother and escort her outside. She was not on the scene at the time the officers arrived, and the mother, Tiffany Howard, explained that this was not the first time that her daughter has been to that location to harass and assault her. Our office has been in touch with Miss Tiffany Howard. She confirmed the events in the warrant. She stated that her daughter may have some MH issues, that she's very dangerous and she's very afraid of her. She was granted a TPO, and that Miss Quincy Howard has been trespassed from her residence in Conyers. She wants no contact and for her to stay away from the church. She indicated she will be on Zoom this afternoon. Your Honor, based on the history and the facts of this case, the state is recommending a $1,500 surety bond, no further contact with Tiffany Howard, stay away from the Simpson Street Church of Christ, MHET, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond. And if we may sound for Miss Tiffany Howard at this time, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Howard, I see you on the screen. If you would like to make a statement, please turn on your camera and raise your right hand.
Okay, one moment. Okay.
Do you swear and affirm testimony you give today be the truth to the best of your knowledge under the penalty of perjury?
I do.
All right. This is a misdemeanor bond hearing, and as it's a misdemeanor offense, the defendant is entitled to a bond today. What I am most concerned with is any concerns you have for your personal safety or the safety of others, perhaps, and whether you wish to have contact. In light of that, Ms. Howard, what would you like to tell me?
My daughter needs psychiatric help.
No, I don't want you to say that on the record. If that's, but really what I'm concerned with is if you have concerns for your specific safety and if you want to have contact with her.
No, I don't. No. Mm-mm.
And do you have any concerns for your safety?
Anytime Quincy is around, I have concerns for my safety, concerns for my car, my vehicle, my home. She vandalizes anything she can get her hands on.
Okay.
And she spits on me in my face.
Okay. Is there a member of the victim witness advocate on the line on there? Perhaps you could chat Miss Howard a number whereby she can give more detailed information?
I've spoken with her this morning.
Wonderful. Thank you. All right, Ms. Harder, thank you for coming to court and appreciate you making that statement. Mr. Ty, is this your client?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, please proceed.
Your Honor, my client is 30 years old. She is the mother of an infant child. She's lived in Georgia all her life. She does firmly deny the allegations as stated in the warrant. She states that she's been dealing with the murder of her husband, which happened in January. I understand there is some history, but of course we deny any kind of mental health issues, Your Honor. She does state that she was removed from the care of her mother, the complaining witness, when she was 12 years old. She was sent to foster care because her mother was abusive to her. She did go on to graduate from high school and got a full scholarship to Clark Atlanta University. She works right now in finance with her, I believe, her father. Again, she does deny the allegations as stated in the warrant. She's fine with no further contact and the stay away. I would object to the MHET. There's nothing indicating that would be appropriate at this time, and I would ask for a signature bond through pretrial services as she is recommended.
Okay. All right, defendant will receive that signature bond through pretrial at level 2. She is to have no contact whatsoever with the alleged victim, stay away from where the victim resides, as well as the incident location. The signature bond will be a $1,500 signature bond through pretrial. I'm also going to require that one day on anger awareness course. All right, is there anything additional?
Nothing further from defense.
All right, best of luck to you, ma'am. That concludes your case. Can we put Mr. Cook in a breakout, please, with Ms. Chansey in courtroom 1?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and who do we have next? All right, courtroom 2 is muted, so who do we have?
I'm sorry, Your Honor, I was saying nothing else for the position. Position number 14, Ms. Richardson.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Ms. Richardson. I'm Judge Melanie Williams. Your case is 24 CR 002140J. In this case, you're charged with battery family violence. You understand your rights?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
You-
Can I have the history, Ms. Hardy?
Your Honor, this is actually conflict case, and we didn't have any conflict attorney, Your Honor.
Okay. So, Ms. Richardson, what that means is I'm going to listen closely to the history given to me from pretrial. I'm going to hear the state's recommendation. And if I do not feel that I can give you a signature bond today, I will reset your case to tomorrow in the hopes that a conflict attorney will be assigned to you. But I will set a bond today, regardless of the nature or type of the bond. All right, Ms. Hardy, please give me the history.
This defendant has a total of 6 arrest cycles, arrests out of Georgia and Pennsylvania. There was a misdemeanor conviction in 2013 out of Pennsylvania for criminal trespass. Their last arrest was November 26, 2017 out of Thomasville for driving without a license. And the recommendation from pretrial is a UJR level 2. Nothing further to report.
All right, thank you. Ms. Desiano, please proceed.
Yes, Your Honor, this incident occurred on April 22nd, 2024. Officers responded to 1150 Astor Avenue Southwest, apartment 2213 in Atlanta in reference to a domestic dispute. Upon arrival, officers made contact with the defendant and the victim. The victim advised that she and the defendant got into an argument when the defendant started placing the victim's belongings outside, trying to force her to leave the apartment. A physical fight occurred and the defendant injured the victim's left ear. The officer observed dry blood on the victim's left ear. Judge, our office has been in touch with the victim. Her name is Danielle Richardson. She said that her and the defendant are married. They no longer live together, that she's left the residence and does not plan to return. She confirmed the events in the warrant. She said this is not the first time that the defendant's been violent towards her, but this is the first time that she's reported it. She states she's in fear of the defendant and does not wish to have any contact with her. And with that, Your Honor, the state would recommend a signature bond through pretrial services, a no further contact with the victim, FVIP, and no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond. And if we could confirm, I believe the victim is on the Zoom. Her name is Miss Richardson. I had a stay away in here, but it looks like she's no longer there. But if we could confirm with her if she's on.
All right, Ms. Richardson, if you wish to make a statement, please turn on your camera. You are not required to, however. Okay, I am assuming that Ms. Richardson does not want to make a statement. The information that the state had is that she is leaving that residence.
Yes, Judge, that's what the victim advocate's notes say. However, this incident did occur yesterday, and according to yesterday, she was living there. So I'm not,
Okay.
you know.
What we'll do is defendant is going to receive a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial at level 2. She is to have no contact with the alleged victim, and she is to stay away from that location. If the victim still resides there, she can return with law enforcement to make that determination. If the victim is gone, she can return to the location. If the victim still resides there, she can use that escort to collect her items on a one-time basis. She's going to take the 1-day anger awareness course, have no alcohol, no drugs, and no weapons, and she'll be reset for the notice. Is there anything additional, Ms. Desiano?
Not for the state, Judge.
All right. Best of luck to you, Ms. Richardson. I'm giving you that signature bond. All right. Who do we have next?
Your Honor, what was that bond amount?
3,000.
Was that jail or pretrial? I'm sorry.
Pre-trial.
Thank you.
Level 2.
Perfect. Next, we're gonna go to Ms. Stewart. Position 17.
All right, Ms. Stewart, your case is 24 CR 002151G. You're charged with battery, family violence, and cruelty to children in the third. Do you understand your rights?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Ms. Hardy.
This defendant doesn't have any history to report, and the recommendation from pretrial is a UJR through the jail.
All right, thank you. Ms. Desiano?
Yes, Judge, this incident occurred on December 1st, 2023. Officers responded to 827 Martin Court Southeast in Atlanta in reference to a domestic dispute. Upon arrival, the officer made contact with the victim, Tanya Miller. Ms. Miller advised that her daughter, the defendant, and she were arguing about the grandchildren's safety because the defendant is in a relationship she does not agree with. Ms. Miller advised that she told the defendant she was going to take the children, at which time the defendant grabbed her by the back of her neck and threw her. Ms. Miller sustained a scratch to her cheek as a result of the altercation, and she advised to police at that time that one of the grandchildren was present, juvenile KW, 4 years of age. Our office has been in touch with Ms. Miller, and she said that she's the mother of the defendant. They don't live together. The incident location is the victim's residence. She confirmed the events in the warrant and confirmed that the defendant grabbed her by the neck, but denied that she tried to choke her. She stated that the children were not present during this incident and did not witness her hear the altercation. She stated that they have rectified their issues since this time. There's been no violence since this happened in December. She was unaware there was a warrant placed for the defendant for this incident. She's not in fear and would like to continue contact. The state would recommend a signature bond through pretrial services, no further violent contact with Tanya Miller, FVIP, and no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond. I believe Ms. Miller is on the Zoom, Your Honor, if you could sound for her.
All right, Ms. Miller, if you're here, please turn on your camera, raise your right hand. You are not required to make a statement, but this is your opportunity if you wish to do so. All right, do you swear and affirm the testimony you give today will be the truth to the best of your knowledge and under the penalty of perjury?
Ma'am.
All right, what I'm most concerned with are any concerns you have for your safety and your desires for contact with the defendant. What would you like to tell me?
No, Tatiana is my firstborn. She's my firstborn, and I would like for her to be able to get out today, to be with her children. And, we have rectified our issues, and hopefully that, this most definitely is a lesson learned and we could just move forward.
So to be clear, you do wish to have contact with Ms. Stewart?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
All right. Ms. Kim, in light of the information before me, I'm inclined to give this defendant a signature bond through the jail, requiring no further violent contact with Ms. Miller. And that would be all that I require. Do you have any objection?
No objection, Your Honor.
All right, defendant is gonna receive a $3,000 signature bond through the jail. That's gonna be 2,500 on count one, 500 on count two. She's to have no further violent contact with Miss Miller, have no alcohol, no drugs, no weapons as a condition of her bond, and she will be reset further notice. Is there anything additional?
Nothing further from defense. Thank
All
you.
right, Miss Stewart, best of luck to you. Who do we have next?
Next, Your Honor, we're gonna go to position number 15, Mr. Sadie. Yes. Come on.
Okay, Mrs. Sadie, good afternoon. Your case number is 24 CR 002156C. You're charged with simple battery, family violence. Do you understand your rights?
Yes, I do.
All right, thank you. Ms. Hardy?
This defendant does not have any history and is recommended for a UJR through the jail.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Siciano?
Your Honor, this incident occurred on April 22nd, 2024. Officers responded to a domestic dispute at 3709 Sandalwood Drive in Sandy Springs. Upon arrival, officers spoke with the defendant and the victim. They say they're brothers who lived together, and the victim advised his brother struck him in the face and strangled him. Our office has been in touch with the victim. He did confirm that they are brothers. They lived together at the incident location. He said there was an argument. The defendant wrapped his arm around his neck from behind and began to strangle him. He said he was able to breathe. He did not feel like he was going to lose consciousness. He stated that nothing like this has ever happened before, that he's not in fear of him, and he's okay with having contact and okay with him returning back to the residence. And Your Honor, because of the lack of history and the victim's wishes, the state's recommendation would be a signature bond through pretrial services and no further violent contact with the victim, FVIP, and no weapons, drugs, or alcohol while out on bond. And I'm going to butcher this name. I apologize. If you could sound for the victim, Sheikh Sadie, SHEIKH.
All right, is Sheikh Sadie present on the Zoom conference and wishes to make a statement? And I don't see anyone with that name either. All right, Ms. Kim, I'm inclined to give a signature bond through the jail, require no further violent contact. Do you have any objection?
No objection, Your Honor.
All right, defendant will receive a $4,000 signature bond through the jail. My apologies. He's to have no further violent contact with the alleged victim and will be reset further notice as it is a signature bond. Of course, he's to have no alcohol, no drugs, no weapons. Anything additional?
Nothing further from defense.
All
None
right.
from the state.
All right. Best of luck to you. So that concludes your case. Who do we have next?
Next, Your Honor, we're gonna go to Ms. Williams. I don't even see her on here, actually.
I don't think there's no Williams on this calendar.
Oh, she was NOD. My apologies, Your Honor. They brought her.
Okay.
We're gonna go to position number 1, Mr. Stuart Butler.
All right, Mr. Butler, your case is 24 CR 002141Y. You're charged with simple battery. You understand your rights?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Ms. Hardy, can I please have Mr. Butler take 3, position 1?
Okay, this defendant has 36 arrest cycles with arrests out of Georgia, Texas, and California. There are a felony conviction in 2023 for burglary, theft by taking. There are two felony convictions outside of the 10-year period. Misdemeanor conviction for criminal trespass out of Texas in 2001. There appears to be a hold out of Marietta for a probation violation. Their last arrest was October the 11th, 2023 out of Cobb for a probation violation. And the recommendation from pretrial is a UJR level 2, nothing further to report.
Okay. All right, Mr. Graham, please proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. This incident took place April 22nd, 2024. Law enforcement was on direct patrol near the intersection of Far Road and Maple Drive was flagged down by the security director of the Atlanta International School. His name is David Tall, T-A-L. Mr. Tall advised the officer that Stuart Butler pushed one of the students from behind while she was walking to the school. Mr. Butler was walking eastbound on Far Road at the time the officer made contact with Mr. Tall and made contact with Mr. Butler a short distance away. Mr. Butler was detained and brought to the school for a show-up. The student, minor initials US, arrived with her father, Malik, M-A-U-L-I-K, Suthar, S-U-T-H-A-R. The student advised that she and her friends were walking southbound on North Fulton Drive when they saw Mr. Butler walking in the direction. As they were crossing the street, she felt a push from behind. She turned around, realized that he had pushed her. He didn't say anything to her afterwards. She told the officer that she was not injured from the incident. Mr. Butler was issued a trespass warning from the security director at the school. Our office has been in touch with the victim's father, Your Honor. The victim herself is a 15-year-old minor. We have not been in contact with the victim or her father. We called and left messages. Based on the history, Your Honor, the state's recommending a $1,000 surety bond, no further contact with minor US or Malik Sudar. Stay away from the Atlanta International School at 2890 North Fulton Drive Northeast. No alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond.
Okay, I'm gonna sound, and the name was Malik Sukar.
Suthar, Your Honor, S-U-T-H-A-R.
Mr. Suthar, if you're present, wish to make a statement, this is your opportunity. Okay, hearing none. Mr. Cook, is this your client? Oh, you're muted. I hope this was your client.
I was in the breakout room, Your Honor, so I didn't hear.
Oh, do you represent Stuart Butler?
Yes, I do.
Okay, that was not good though. You just got back. I didn't realize that this was your client. I'm gonna have to ask Ms. Hardy to put the history back onto the record for Mr. Cook's benefit. Ms. Hardy, I apologize. Can you please give Mr. Cook the history for position 1 again, the 36 cycles, please?
Okay, 36 cycles, arrests out of Georgia, Texas, and California. There was a 2023 felony conviction for burglary. Last arrest, October 11th, 2023, out of Cobb County for a probation violation. There was a 2001 misdemeanor conviction for criminal trespass out of Texas. There appears to be a hold out of Marietta for a probation violation. And the recommendation was a UJR level 2.
All right, thank you, Ms. Hardy. And the state has recommended $1,000 surety bond, Mr. Cook.
Okay. Your Honor, my client is 46 years old. He's lived in this area about 6 years. He is at a shelter sometimes, I think it's called Gateway, but has no permanent residence. I understand the history. Since he has a hold in Cobb, we would be asking for a signature only bond from Fulton so he can proceed on to his business there.
Okay, I'm gonna give him the $1,000 surety bond. He is to have no contact whatsoever with the minor involved or the minor's father, and absolutely stay away from the children. The Atlanta International School. Additionally, he's to have no drugs, no alcohol, no weapons. He will be reset to state all purpose on the 7th of May, whereby aspects of this case can be revisited. All right, best of luck to you, Mr. Butler. That concludes your case. Can we do the interpretation case now?
Yes.
That's position number 3.
All right, good afternoon, Mr. Darden Dundon. Your case is 24 CR 002143E. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Ms. Chancey, I need to place you under oath.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Chancey, do you swear and affirm that today you will make an accurate translation from English to Spanish, Spanish to English to the best of your skills, your knowledge, and your ability?
Yes, Your Honor, I do.
Thank you.
Señor Dardón, su número de caso es 24CR002143.
You have an absolute right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you.
Usted tiene un absoluto derecho a guardar silencio. Todo lo que diga puede y será usado en su contra.
You have a right to an attorney.
Tiene derecho a ser representado por un abogado.
And I'm conducting this hearing over the internet today.
Y yo estoy conduciendo esta sesión en la internet hoy.
That means members of the public can log on and watch.
Quiere decir que cualquier miembro del público pueden entrar a la plataforma y observar.
Do you understand your rights and how I'm conducting the hearing today?
¿Usted entiende sus derechos y cómo estoy conduciendo esta sesión hoy?
Sí.
Yes.
All right, and I want to make clear, in this case, you're charged with simple battery, family violence, with the offense date of April this 22nd.
Usted tiene un cargo por golpes y lesiones simples con el día del incidente el 22 de abril del 2024.
Sí.
Yes.
All right, Ms. Hardy, if you'll give us the history, please.
¿No puede dar los antecedentes, señora Hardy?
This defendant does not have any history
Este acusado no tiene antecedentes penales
and is recommended for UJR through the jail.
y se recomienda, por sus siglas en inglés, UJR a través de la cárcel.
All right, Mr. Graham, please proceed, leaving time for interpretation.
¿Puede, por favor, proceder dando lugar para la interpretación?
Your Honor, this incident took place April 22nd, 2024. Law enforcement responded to a domestic dispute at 6670 Rivertown Road in Fairburn.
Su señoría, este incidente ocurrió el 22 de abril del 2024 y la policía fue enviada al domicilio de 6670 Rivertown Road en Fairburn.
Upon arrival, Elvira Dardon advised that her father, Jesus Dardon, had physically assaulted her mother, LD Ramirez.
Al llegar, Elvira Dardón declaró que el padre, Jesús Dardón, había tomado a la madre, Eldi Ramírez.
He grabbed her in an aggressive manner while trying to snatch something out of her hand.
Y la había tomado con fuerza del brazo, tratando de arrebatarle algo de su mano.
During the struggle, he noticed his daughter recording the attack.
Y durante la lucha se dio cuenta que la hija estaba tratando de filmar este ataque.
He then attempted to snatch the phone out of her hand, striking her in the arm in the process.
Intentó sacarle el teléfono de la mano, golpeándolo el brazo en el proceso.
It is noted that Ms. Dardon's minor child was present during the altercation.
I'm sorry, who was present?
The minor child of Elvira Dardon.
También supo que el hijo menor de Elvira Dardón estaba presente durante el incidente.
Ms. Dardon indicated that her father was intoxicated at the time of the incident.
Y la señorita Dardón indicó que el padre estaba ebrio durante el incidente.
In Your Honor, just for clarity of the record, there are 2 simple battery family violence charges, one for each victim.
Y para clarificación, tiene el acusado 2 cargos de golpes y lesiones simples, una por cada víctima.
All right. And the name of the victim? I'm sorry, I didn't make the sound.
¿El nombre de la víctima?
Mr. Graham?
Sorry, Your Honor, my internet is...
It's okay. It's been a bad internet day all around. What is the name of the victim?
The first victim is LD Ramirez.
All right, let me sound for Miss LD Ramirez.
Eldi Ramírez se encuentra en la plataforma. Por favor, prenda su cámara y avísenos. Eldi, señora Eldi Ramírez.
And the other victim, Mr. Graham?
Elvira Dardon.
Elvira Dardon.
Elvira Dardón. Está presente. Por favor, prenda su cámara. Elvira Dardón.
Okay.
And,
Mr. Graham, continue with your recommendation. I just want to make sure that they weren't here.
Bueno,
thank
por
you.
favor, continúe con la recomendación de sentencia. Gracias.
Our office has spoken with the daughter, Elvira Dardon, Your Honor. She tells us that they all live together at the incident location. She confirmed the events in the warrant.
Su señoría Elvira Dardón, nos contactamos con ella, su señoría, y declaró que todos viven juntos en la dirección mencionada.
She stated this is not the first time this has happened, that Mr. Dardon does consume alcohol regularly.
Ella declaró que no es la primera vez que esto ocurre y que el señor Dardón ha tenido, bebe y ha tenido otros actos violentos.
She stated that she's in fear of him when he is drinking, would like for him to have an alcohol evaluation.
Ella comentó que le teme cuando él bebe y que debería tener una evaluación de alcohol.
She does not want contact and wants him to stay away from the residence.
Ella no quiere contacto con él y que se mantenga alejado de la residencia.
Your Honor, the state is recommending a signature bond through pretrial services.
Se recomienda una fianza bajo firma a través de los servicios previos al juicio.
Alcohol and drug evaluation and treatment plan.
Que se someta a una evaluación de drogas, alcohol y tratamiento si es necesario.
Family violence intervention program.
Y también que se registre en un programa de intervención de familia.
No further contact with LD Ramirez or Elvira Dardon.
No tener contacto con Elvira Dardón o Eldi Ramírez.
All right. Mr. Cook?
Señor Cook.
Mr. Graham, were you done? Just making sure.
Sorry, I think I didn't get to stay away from the incident location, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons.
Okay.
Olvidé de decir que se mantenga alejado de la residencia y queda prohibido el uso de drogas, alcohol y armas mientras esté bajo fianza.
Your Honor, my client is 52 years old. They do all reside at the Rivertown Road address.
Sí, mi cliente tiene 52 años y todos viven juntos en la dirección de Rivertown Road.
Mr. Dardon and Miss LD Ramirez have been together for 20 years.
El señor Dardón y la señora Eldi Ramírez han vivido juntos por 20 años.
He works in the painting business.
Y él trabaja en el campo de la pintura.
This is his first arrest.
Este es su primer arresto.
We believe, given that history, we have no objection to the signature bond.
Debido a esos antecedentes, no tenemos ninguna objeción a recibir una fianza bajo firma.
We would be seeking a no violent contact provision.
Tratamos de solicitar que se provea una orden de no tener contacto violento.
And we would object to the alcohol evaluation, the stay away provision, and the family violence intervention program.
Pero sí objetamos la evaluación de drogas y alcohol, la orden de mantenerse alejado y también el programa de intervención de violencia familiar.
All right. Based on the information before me, defendant will receive a $6,000 signature bond through the jail, 3,000 on each count. Because I have not heard from either of the victims, we will, let me let Ms. Chancy catch up.
Yo, basado en la información que he recibido, ordeno una fianza de $6,000 bajo firma a través de la cárcel. Son $3,000 de fianza por cada cargo. Yes, ma'am.
He is to have no contact with either of the alleged victims.
Debido a que no hablé con ninguna de las víctimas, él no puede tener contacto con ninguna de ellas.
He needs to stay away from that incident location. He can return one time with law enforcement.
Debe mantenerse alejado del lugar donde ocurrió el incidente. Puede regresar solo una vez con un oficial de policía para retirar sus pertenencias.
He can, and again, he's to have no alcohol, no drugs, no weapons.
Y queda prohibido el uso de drogas, alcohol y armas.
All right, is there anything additional from the state or the defense?
¿Hay alguna cosa adicional?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Nothing,
Nada.
nothing from the defense, Your Honor.
Y nada
right.
de la defensa.
Best of luck to you, sir. That concludes your case.
Mucha suerte, señor. Esto termina esta sesión para usted.
All right, Ms. Chancy, will you sound to see if anyone else needs your assistance before you go?
Yes, Your Honor. ¿Hay alguien que necesite la asistencia de un intérprete en español para hablar con la señora jueza? Por favor, prenda su cámara.
All right, that's all. Thank you, Ms. Chancy. I appreciate your help.
You're welcome. Have a good evening, ma'am.
You too. Bye-bye. Who do
Bye.
we have next at courtroom 2?
It's gonna be position number 7, Mr. Gaston, position number 7.
All right, Mr. Gaston, your case is 24 CR 002154C. You're charged with battery family violence. You understand your rights?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Ms. Hardy.
This defendant has 27 arrest cycles, felony conviction in 2014 for aggravated assault and theft by receiving. They received first offender treatment and it was sealed in 2018. 2023 burglary and a CWAC charge. There was a last arrest was March the 15th of this year out of Fulton County for a probation violation. And there's no recommendation from pretrial at this time.
All right, thank you. Mr. Graham, please proceed.
Yes, Your Honor. This incident took place on March 10th, 2024. Law enforcement was dispatched to a domestic disturbance at the Homebound Apartments, 141 Hillard Street in Atlanta. Upon arrival, the officer met with Rosie Bowmans. She explained that she and DeAndre Gaston got into a physical altercation. She says that Mr. Gaston was upset that she had gone out with her friends, and he punched her, causing a visible bruise on her right arm from the incident. She indicated that to the officer that Mr. Gaston is often physically violent with her. Our office has not been in touch with Ms. Bowmans. Your Honor, as a result of the history, the state is recommending a $1,500 surety bond. No further contact with Rosie Bowmans. Stay away from 141 Hillard Street. A one-day anger awareness. No alcohol, drugs, or weapons when auto on bond.
All right, Ms. Bowens, I see you online. If you wish to make a statement, please turn on your camera, raise your right hand. You are not required to make a statement. Do you wish to make a statement, Ms. Bowens? You are not required to make a statement, Ms. Bowens? No, we can't. We have to. No. No.
I'm not scared of your dress.
We're not gonna hear anything until you turn on your camera, Ms. Bowens. You have to turn your camera on. Okay. Ms. Bowens, if you wish to make a statement, you turn on the camera first and raise your right hand. All right, please raise your right hand. Raise your right.
bad in here. Hello?
You have to raise your right hand if you wish to make a statement,
Sure.
and please mute whatever that else is in the background so we can hear you clearly, okay? Please raise your right hand. Whatever else is in the background so we can hear you clearly, okay? Raise your right hand.
I can't hear you.
Okay, if you wish to make a statement, you need to raise your right hand. Okay, if you wish to make a statement, you need to raise your right hand. Ms. Bowens? Ms. Bowens? Okay, I don't know, we can't continue this much longer. Mr. Todd, please proceed.
Yes, Your Honor, my client is 31 years old. He is the father of 6 minor children. He has lived in Georgia all his life. As you heard, his last arrest was March 15th. He's been in custody since March 15th on the probation violation. I believe that was cleared and his probation was reinstated. So he spent over 30 days in custody, Your Honor. I think when he was getting ready to be released, this warrant popped up. I was able to speak with the complaining witness. I know that you haven't been able to hear from her, but she was shocked when I told her that this case even exists. And she stated he shouldn't be there. This shouldn't even be a case. Nothing happened. Basically, nothing violent has ever happened between them. She states that she needs him to be able to come back to the home once he's released, to continue having contact with him. She's on dialysis and relies on him to help care for the minor children and also to get her to her dialysis appointments, which she's been missing. And she says she needs those to survive, Your Honor. If she's able to make a statement, I believe that is what she'll say. I spoke with her today. I would ask, because of the time that she's already been in custody, I would ask for a signature bond through pretrial services at whatever level the court deems appropriate, due to the circumstances here and the complaining witness stating that there's no basis for the arrest and the warrant. Nothing further.
All right, defendant will receive it. Oh, what happens to my audio? Can everyone hear me? I don't know
Yes.
what's happening today. Defendant is going to receive a $2,000 surety bond. He's to have no further violent contact with the alleged victim, have no alcohol, no drugs, and no weapons as a condition. Is there anything additional?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, best of luck to Mr. Gaston. Who do we have next?
Your Honor, so that was a surety bond.
It was, yes, Mr. Ty. All right, who do we have next?
Y'all, we on to position number 2, camps.
Okay. I believe Mr. Camps has seen me before, perhaps not. Mr. Camps, your case is 24 CR 002142J. You're charged with simple battery against an officer and obstruction. Do you understand your rights?
Yeah.
All right. Ms. Hardy, can I have a history, please?
This defendant has 6 arrest cycles. Their last arrest was March the 26th, 2024 out of Fulton for a simple assault. That did end up with the conviction. And it appears that they're on probation for theft by shoplifting. That case number is 23 CR 005263J. The recommendation from pretrial is a UJR level 3. Nothing further to report.
All right, Mr. Graham.
Thank you, Your Honor. This incident took place on April 22nd, 2024. Law enforcement responded to a robbery call at 2290 Piedmont Road, Northeast in Atlanta. Upon arrival, the reporting officer, Officer Johnson, observed Mr. Camps actively resisting arrest by Officer Taylor. In an attempt to avoid being detained, Mr. Camps pepper sprayed Officer Taylor after running and resisting arrest. Mr. Camps told the reporting officer that he pepper sprayed Officer Taylor because the officer was chasing him. Your Honor, as pretrial noted, we have seen Mr. Camps recently. Last arrest was March 26th. A part of that incident, he also pepper sprayed an employee at the Kroger. And then I also have an arrest from February of 2024 for simple battery, simple assault, willful obstruction, and shoplifting. As a result, Your Honor, of the history, the state is recommending a $2,000 surety bond. It's $1,000 on each count. A stay away from 2290 Piedmont Road, Northeast, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond.
All right, Mr. Cook, please proceed. You're muted, Mr. Cook.
Your Honor, my client is 28 years old. He's currently working at Red Lobster. We would have no objection to any of the conditions, the stayaways and no contact. We would be seeking a signature-only bond through pre-trial services.
All right. Defendant is going to receive $1,000 surety bond, 500 on each count. He's to stay away from that incident location, have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, and I believe no further violent contact with either of those victims. And like it was, an officer was the alleged victim, correct, Mr. Graham?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Okay, so for the purposes of administering law enforcement, we'll say no further violent contact. All right, best of luck to you, Mr. Camps. That concludes your case. What do we have next?
You have to pay, you have to pay. You have to pay. For 2 weeks. Next, Your Honor, we're gonna go to position number 6, Mr. Stephen Faulkner.
Mr. Faulkner, your case is 24 CR 002148C. You're charged with battery, family violence, and criminal trespass, damage to property. You understand your rights?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Graham. I'm sorry, Ms. Hardy, please proceed.
Okay, there's no history for this defendant. However, GCIC shows that there may be history out of Alabama and Michigan, but we didn't receive anything back. The
Okay.
recommendation from pretrial is a UJR through the jail, nothing further.
All right, Mr. Graham, can you confirm if there's any out-of-state history?
Your Honor, I have the same information as pretrial.
Okay, please proceed then.
This incident took place on January 4th, 2024. Law enforcement responded to a domestic dispute at 2591 Charlestown Drive, apartment 18B in Atlanta. Upon arrival, Marshana Pitts advised that an argument with her boyfriend, Stephen Faulkner, became physical when he grabbed her, threw her to the ground, and kicked her while she was down. Just before the physical assault, Mr. Faulkner damaged the windshield of her vehicle. At that point, she began to put his belongings outside, and then the physical altercation began. Our office has spoken with Ms. Pitts. She advised that the two are in a relationship. They do live together at the incident location. They share no children. She confirmed the events in the warrant. She said she no longer wishes to press charges, that they have made up since the incident. It's never happened before. They were both drinking. They've lived together since the incident. There's been no violence. She stated that he has paid to fix the damage to the car. She's not in fear of the defendant and wants to continue contact. Your Honor, based on the history and the statement from the victim, the state is recommending a signature bond through pretrial services, a one-day anger awareness course, no further violent contact with Marshana Pitts, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bonds. And if we may sound from Ms. Pitts, Your Honor, I believe I saw her logged in.
All right, Ms. Pitts, if you'd like to make a statement, this is your opportunity to do so. Please turn on your camera, raise your right hand, and do so quickly. Again, I'm sounding for Ms. Pitts. Okay, we're gonna assume Ms. Pitts does not want to make a statement. Mr. Cook?
Yes, Your Honor, we have no objection to the no further violent contact, and certainly the signature bond through pretrial services. We would object to the anger management course, and nothing further from the defense, Your Honor.
Was the state's recommendation no further violent, or was it no contact, Mr. Graham?
The state's recommendation, Your Honor, is no further violent contact.
Okay. All right, defendant will receive a $4,000 signature bond through the jail, 2,000. I'm sorry, 3,000 on count one, 1,000 on count two. He's to have no further violent contact with the alleged victim and have no alcohol, no drugs, no weapons as a condition. Is there anything additional?
Nothing.
Nothing from the defense, Your Honor.
All right. Best of luck to you, sir. That concludes your case.
Your Honor, next we got position number 13, Mr. Pretty.
All right, Mr. Pretty, your case is 24 CR 002153J. You're charged with battery, family violence, and cruelty to children. You understand your rights?
Yes.
All right. Can I have the history, Ms. Hardy?
This defendant has one arrest cycle out of Georgia. It was their last arrest, which was October 22nd, 2022, out of Sandy Springs for a probation violation. And recommendation from pretrial is a UJR through the jail. Nothing further.
Okay. Mr. Ciano, please proceed.
Yes, Your Honor, this incident took place there's two events that happened. The first happened on April 21st, 2024. Law enforcement responded to the Whitney Apartments located at 5555-L5 Roswell Road, Sandy Springs, in reference to a domestic dispute. Upon arrival, the officer made contact with the victim, Miss Ana Cespedes Morales, who explained that her boyfriend, the defendant with whom she lives with and shares a child, came home after being out all night drinking. She locked herself and their 4-year-old son in the back room, anticipating that the defendant would get violent as he has done in the past. The defendant began yelling at her through the door, accusing of her of cheating on him with other men before kicking the door off its hinges, then entered the room, punched her in the face 2 times. The victim sustained visibly swollen, busted lip from the incident, which was documented on camera. This incident took place in front of their 4-year-old juvenile IP, who confirmed that he saw the defendant kick down the bedroom door and punch his mother in the face. After the medical personnel left, the victim requested that they come back because she believed that her jaw was dislocated, and she was transported to Northside Hospital for treatment. In the second incident, which took place the following day at the same location, the defendant punched the same victim in her face and bit her arm. The victim sustained cuts, bruises on her head and face, as well as marks and bruises on her arm from the incident. We have been in touch with the victim. She states that they are in a relationship. They live together at the incident location. They share a child. She confirmed the events in both warrants. She said that this is not the first time that he's been violent towards her, but the first time that she's ever reported it. She stated she did go to the hospital to see if her arm was dislocated, but it was not, and she was cleared. She stated that she believes that the defendant has a substance abuse issue and wants him to seek treatment. She stated she's in fear of him, does not want any contact with him. She said he's already called her multiple times from the jail, leaving her voicemails apologizing. She has not answered any of the calls, and she would like a stay away from the residence, and she is okay with a third-party transfer for their child. Given the nature of these charges, Your Honor, the state is recommending a signature bond through pretrial services on all counts, a no further contact with Ana Cespedes Morales, a stay away from the incident location, an alcohol drug assessment and follow any recommended treatment, FVIP, and no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond. And I believe, Judge, that the victim is on the line. If you could sound for Ms. Cespedes Morales.
All right, if Ms. Cespedes Morales is on the Zoom conference and wishes to make a statement, please turn on your camera. This is your opportunity to do so. Hearing, seeing none. Mr. Ty?
Yes, Your Honor, my client is 24 years old. He is the father of one minor child. He is gainfully employed at a family business, Car Wash Plus. As you heard, this is his, I believe he had one arrest for a probation violation in 2022, and that was he didn't, there was some it was a traffic incident, Your Honor. He was supposed to pay a fine and forgot to do that. But other than that, he has no criminal history. He is recommended for a signature bond through the jail. I would ask for that signature bond through the jail. He's fine with no further contact, staying away from the incident location. He would like the third-party transfer of the minor child so he can continue to be in that child's life. I would object to the ADET and the FVIP. This is his first arrest, Your Honor.
All right. Defendant will receive a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial services at level 1. That's going to be I said 3,000, 2,000 on count 1, 1,000 on count 2. He is to take the 1-day anger awareness course. He's to have no contact with the alleged victim and stay away from that location. If he needs to return one time, he can do so with law enforcement to get any items. He can coordinate transfer of the child through a third party, and he's to have no alcohol, no drugs, and no weapons as a condition. Is there anything additional?
Your Honor, he has three counts.
Oh, it's 3 charges?
Yeah.
3 charges.
Okay, so it's 2 battery family violence. And okay, so what we'll do is each count of battery family violence will be 1,000. So wait a minute. Let's make it 1,000 each count. I'll keep it at the 3,000.
Okay.
Okay.
All righty.
All right. Best of luck to you, Mr. Pretty.
And what level was that?
Level 1 per judge.
Thank you.
Your Honor, can we go to the add-on? And that's going to be Mr. Timothy Fundren.
Okay, Mr. Fundren, your case is 24 CR 002157F. In this case, you're charged with battery family violence. You understand your rights?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
All right, Ms. Hardy, can I have that history, please?
Your Honor, I didn't get the add-on. What's the defendant's name?
Last name is Fondren. If not, we can defer to the state. And we'll do that. We'll give you a moment to look for it. Ms. Desiano, if you'll give us the history, please, if you have it.
Yes, Your Honor, I have 3 arrests, 1 for marijuana possession, 1 for simple assault that was not processed, and this arrest.
Okay, please proceed.
Your Honor, this incident took place on April 19th, 2024. Law enforcement was working an extra job at the Motel 6 in East Point, located at 1377 Virginia Avenue, East Point, when the defendant pulled him to the side, stating that he and his son had gotten into an altercation. The son is the victim, Your Honor. His name is Timothy Fondren Jr. The officer spoke with the victim, who was visibly upset, who explained that his father started an argument with him about being too loud earlier that day. The verbal dispute turned into a physical one when the defendant struck the victim, punching and slapping him, at which point the victim struck back. The victim sustained scratches to his neck and wrist, as well as a busted lip from the incident, and the defendant sustained no injuries. However, Your Honor, our office has been unable to get in touch with the victim because he was also arrested during this incident. The state would recommend a signature bond through pretrial services because we haven't been in touch with the victim and no further contact with him. A stay away from the Motel 6 at East Point, FVIP, and no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond. I don't think he's on the Zoom, Your Honor, but maybe
If
sound for him just
it was a dual arrest, but I will sound just in case. Is Mr. Fondren on the Zoom conference? Okay, Mr. Ty?
Yes, Your Honor. My client is a 47-year-old father of 3 minor children. He is a single father since his wife passed away last year. He's lived in Georgia for 16 years. He is gainfully employed as a banquet manager at White Oak Kitchen. He's also an active member of Salem Bible Church, where he also serves as a musician. Your Honor, he and his son were both arrested on April 19th. This is the only charge. This is the only reason that he's been in custody since the 19th. This is a Riverside issue. He says that his son was released from East Point. So I would hope he's in school now. He stated that he has his the grandmother of the child. His mother is driving from Tennessee to try to monitor this child right now, that his father's not there to take care of him.
Before you go any further, Mrs. Ty, Ms. Desiano, I'm inclined to agree that this is a Riverside issue. Do you see anything that would indicate otherwise?
No, Your Honor, I agree. It's a Riverside issue.
Okay, so then that means the defendant is gonna receive a $10,000 signature bond through the jail. He's to have no further violent contact with the alleged victim and stay away from that motel.
Your Honor, I actually, I didn't try to find out why they were at the motel, but I would ask for no stay away in case he needs to go back there.
Your Honor, I have no information about
I'm
whether
thinking
he
about,
lives
yeah, I'm
there or
thinking
anything.
about it. Okay, we won't do the stay away at this time.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, but it is a no further violent contact with that victim. All right, best of luck to you, Mr. Fondren. That concludes your case. All right, who do we have next?
You'll pay nothing. Next, we're gonna go to Mr. Cortez Elliott, position number 5.
He's 4 as well.
Oh,
All right, Mr. Elliott, your case is 24 CR 002144A. In that case, you're charged with obstruction with the offense date of April 22nd. You also have 24 CR 002155A. You're charged with battery family violence back in May of 2023 on that case. Do you understand your rights?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Ms. Hardy, can I have the history?
This defendant has 10 arrest cycles out of Georgia. Misdemeanor conviction in 2019 for battery family violence, 2023 for a CWAC charge. There's a felony conviction in 2015 for armed robbery. They received first offender treatment, no seal date was listed. 2023 aggravated stalking, burglary, and theft by taking. That was their last arrest out of Atlanta, July 15th, 2022. And there's no recommendation from pretrial at this time.
All right, thank you. Mr. Brown, please proceed.
Yes, Your Honor, and if I may start with position 5 and then do position 4.
That's fine.
Okay. So this incident took place on May 12th, 2023. Law enforcement responded to a battery call at 4900 Delano Road in Atlanta. Upon arrival, Jade Brooks advised the officer that an argument with her child's father, Cortez Elliott, became physical when he punched her in the face repeatedly. He fled the scene before officers arrived. They observed Miss Brooks' a swollen left eye and a knot on her forehead. Your Honor, our office is in the process of transferring this case to the DA's office. Mr. Elliott has a previous battery family violence conviction out of DeKalb in October of 2019. We were unable to determine if it's the same victim. And Your Honor, on the obstruction charge, this incident took place on April 22nd, 2024. Law enforcement arrived at 4669 Heath Terrace in Atlanta to execute a search warrant and arrest warrant for Mr. Elliott. Officers were greeted at the door by Jade Brooks, who advised Mr. Elliott was downstairs in the bedroom. He refused to exit the bedroom after numerous commands. Once an additional canine unit arrived, Mr. Elliott was able to be taken into custody. Your Honor, that arrest included 2 additional felony offenses, one of which included Ms. Brooks. Actually, both of them included Ms. Brooks, one as a battery family violence and another criminal damage to property in the second. Our office has been in touch with Ms. Brooks. She tells us they are in a relationship. They do not currently live together. They do share one child. She confirmed the events in the warrant from the battery family violence of May of last year, and said that that was the first time that there had been physical violence between the two. That they did have an altercation this past January, and that resulted in those felony charges. She's not in fear. She wants contact. Your Honor, the state is concerned for this victim's safety. Even though she does want contact, she's not in fear. The state is still going to request a no further contact with Jay Brooks, a stay away from her residence, which is 4669 Heath Terrace. On the battery family violence charge, Your Honor, we are requesting a $2,500 surety bond. On the willful obstruction, a $500 surety bond, FVIP, and no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. And we will sound for Ms. Brooks at this time, Your Honor.
All right, if Ms. Brooks is on this line and wishes to make a statement, this is your opportunity. All right, hearing none. All right, one second. Is that Ms. Brooks? Ms. Brooks, if you wish to make a statement, you'll need to raise your right hand and unmute. Do you swear and affirm testimony you give today be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, what would you like to tell me?
I'm not in fear. I'm trying to. Hold on. Can you hear me now?
It's a terrible echo, but we can hear you.
I'm not in fear of him. We do share a child together, and we work together on my food truck. And
Okay.
the incident that recently occurred, it was about, I mean, it was someone else sending like things to him to make him upset. So it was nothing between us. It was okay, can you hear me better now?
We can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, it was something that was from someone else that I'm now taking the TPO out on. So we did not have an altercation. It was just about someone else.
Okay. I appreciate you coming to court and making the statement. Mr. Cook, please proceed.
Your Honor, my client is 26 years old and has lived in the Atlanta area his entire life. He does also reside at the Heath Terrace location, and he does work with Miss Brooks as well as lives with her, and they do share a child. We would be seeking, given Miss Brooks' statement, we would be seeking no further violent contact. We would object to a stay away, and we would be asking for a signature bond at whatever level the court deems appropriate.
All right. As to position 4, the obstruction, defendant is going to receive a $1,500 surety bond. Case to have no alcohol, no drugs, no weapons as a condition. And there is just one charge on the position 5, correct?
That is correct, Your Honor.
All right. As to that particular case, defendant will receive a $4,000 surety bond. He's to have no further violent contact with the alleged victim, have no alcohol, no drugs, no weapons as a condition. Is there anything additional?
Your Honor, did you mean to include a stay away also?
I said no further violence, so I'm not going to include that stay away.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Best of luck to you both. That concludes Miss Elliott's case. Who do we have next?
Your Honor, what was that bond amount again? I apologize.
It's 4,000 surety, so you've got to make bond for 4. And on the obstruction, that's a $1,500 surety.
Thank you. Next is going to be Mr. Tiffany Hendricks. And that's position. Number 10.
Okay, is the courtroom clear?
No, hold on. No, we got one.
So we can't do that one.
All right. The only other one we have is the breakout for 89.
Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. Breakout case.
Okay. Tiffany, go to
All right, if I could be placed in a breakout with state and defense but let's hear the history first. This is the cases of Antoinetta Harris, 24 CR 002156F. In that case, defendant is charged with discharge of a firearm. And we also have 24 CR 002147F, in which defendant is charged with criminal trespass. Ms. Hardy can have that history.
This defendant does not have any history and is recommended for UJR through the jail.
Okay. Because of the nature of the charge, Ms. Hardy, if I did want to send it through pretrial, is it a charge that pretrial can accept? I just want to be clear.
It is one that we are able to accept.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. I believe whose case is this? Mr. Graham, Mr. Ty? Is there anyone else who needs to go into the breakout for this case? Ms. Kim.
Can you add me, please? Thank you.
Ms. Harris?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. I'm about to let you into the breakout room with the judge, so please accept the breakout notification, okay?
I'm sorry. I wonder what was going on. I had got cut off.
Okay, I'm about to put you in the room with the judge, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't know how to get back in. I don't know about this.
All right. As it pertains to Ms. Harris at position 8, defendant is going to receive a $6,000 signature bond through pretrial level 3 per judge. She is, of course, to have no alcohol, no drugs, no weapons as a condition of that signature bond through pretrial. As it pertains to position 8, defendant is going to receive a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial per judge. She is to undergo an MHET, and she's to stay away from the address, the incident location, I believe is Athens Street, and have no further violent contact with the alleged victim, Ms. Harris, in this case. Is there anything additional from the state or the defense?
Nothing further.
All right. Best of luck to you, Ms. Harris. That concludes your case. All right, is courtroom 2 now clear? I think, is there someone else at ACDC?
Yes, good afternoon, Your Honor. I have position 12, Ms. Hutchinson, and position 16, Ms. Sims.
Your Honor, which position are we doing first?
Position 12, Ms. Hutchinson.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Your Honor. Your Honor.
I'm just talking and talking, not realizing that it was frozen and then I was kicked out. Is there anyone else at ACDC that needs to be seen today? Or can ACDC be excused?
Yes, we have count.
Yes, Your Honor.
That's position 12, Your Honor, in front of you, position 12.
Okay. Ms. Harris, I'm gonna ask that the victim witness advocate perhaps chat you to give you more information. I did give your daughter a signature bond, but I did require her to stay away from your home, okay?
Okay.
If you have any more specific questions, either her attorney or the advocate can give you some guidance,
I don't
okay?
want to talk to her because I don't have a relationship with a girl. It was my daughter. It wasn't me. I did not tell her that she had it wrong.
No. No one said that, Ms. Harris. That's not what was said, okay?
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, please. Yeah, that was not what was told to me, okay?
Okay, I'm
Everyone here
sorry.
is trying to assist. Don't worry, okay? That's not the impression we got today.
So she'll get
All
out
right.
today?
I don't know how quickly it'll take to process her out, but I did give her signature bonds, okay? But I do
she
need
don't
to
have
move on.
she don't have no way of being, so I'm gonna have to come get her. Me or
Okay.
her ex-girlfriend. Somebody gonna have to come get her, Your Honor. Because she gonna be on the street.
I understand, but okay. I can't really assist you further, but if you will speak with her attorney or the victim witness advocate can assist you, okay, Ms. Harris? But I do have to continue with the rest of the calendar, okay?
I got you. I just don't want
Okay.
nothing to happen to her while she's out there. Okay.
Okay. All right. Take care. And no one has said anything against you. All right. Take care. All right. Do we have position 12, Jasmine Hutchinson? Are you Miss Hutchinson?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Your case is 24 CR 0021552G. You're charged with reckless conduct and simple battery family violence. You have a right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. Do you understand your rights today?
Yes.
All right. Ms. Hardy, can I have the history, please?
And this defendant has one arrest cycle in Georgia. Their last arrest was March the 9th, 2014, out of Glenn County for theft by shoplifting. The recommendation from pretrial is a UJR through the jail, nothing further.
Wait, what?
Okay. Ms. Desiano?
Yes, Your Honor, this incident took place on April 22nd, 2024 at 1461 Sylvan Road in Atlanta. The victim, Mr. Glenn Ezzard, and the defendant share a daughter together. They were in the defendant's car. The victim was attempting to exit the defendant's vehicle, and as he did so, the defendant accelerated the vehicle, dragging him for a brief period of time. Once the victim exited her vehicle, the defendant came up from behind and grabbed his throat, choking him. She then attempted to pull him to the ground, but was unsuccessful. We have not spoken with the victim, Judge. He apparently was arrested this day, but for unrelated, he had a warrant out for him in Douglas County. We have spoken to his mother, and she was there, and she just basically confirmed everything that the warrant said. Given the nature of this, our office is in the process of upgrading this to transfer to Superior Court, and the state at this point is recommending a surety bond on count 1 in the amount of $500, a surety bond on count 2 in the amount of $1,500, no further contact with the victim, a stay away from the incident location. I'm not sure if that's a residence. It makes it sound like it's not. FVIP, and no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond. And if you could, Your Honor, sound for Mr. Ezzard.
Okay, is Mr. Ezzard present? All right, Ms. Hardy, I apologize. Last arrest was what year again?
The last arrest, 2014.
Okay, that was what I had. All right, thank you so much. All right, Mr. Ezzard did not respond. Ms. Hatay?
Yes, Your Honor, my client is 28 years old. She is the mother of 3 minor children. She's lived in Georgia all her life. That last arrest was for shoplifting, and it was 10 years ago, when she was a teenager, Your Honor. She is recommended for a signature bond through the jail. She does deny the allegations as stated in the warrant. She states that she was arrested because of the camera footage, which only showed the tail end, but states that as the complaining witness was getting out of the car, he threw a water bottle at her head. So I think and reckless conduct driving away. I mean, if you want to be safe, you shouldn't throw a water bottle at the driver's head, Your Honor. She does deny the allegations, states that the complaining witness was the first aggressor, that the complaining witness's mother was also the first aggressor, calling her 13-year-old grandchild a bitch. I would object to a stay away because she was actually there enrolling her daughter in school. So I would ask for no stay away so that she can at least drop off and pick up her child from the school. She's fine with no further contact and prefers that. I would also ask in this case, because she does work as a security guard, for an exception for the no weapons, just while she's working, Your Honor, on duty at work.
Is she a certified armed security?
Yes.
Security?
Yes, she is, Your Honor.
She carries a weapon. She carries a gun.
She is certified for armed security work with allied security. I don't think her job requires her to have a weapon right now, but she wants to have that option open in case she has jobs where she needs to carry the weapon because she is certified to do so.
All right. Defendant's going to receive a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2 per judge. It's going to be $500 on that reckless, $1,500 on that count, simple battery count. She's to take the 1-day anger awareness course. She is to have no contact with the alleged victim. I will not require the stay away. And she is to, she can have a weapon only as it pertains to her position, but otherwise she's to have no alcohol, no drugs, no weapons. Is there anything additional?
Nothing further. Thank you, Your Honor.
Nothing from the state, Judge.
All right. Best of
Thank
luck
you.
to you, Ms. Hutchinson.
Thank you.
Position 17, Ms. Sims.
Okay, Ms. Sims, your case is 24 CR 002-145C. You're charged with simple assault, family violence, and simple assault. You understand your rights?
Yes.
All right, Ms. Hardy.
No history to report and recommended for a UJR through the jail.
All right, Ms. Desiano, please proceed.
Your Honor, this incident took place on April 21st, 2024. Officers were dispatched to 2900-7208 Laurel Ridge Way in East Point in reference to a domestic dispute. Upon arrival, officers spoke with the victim, Dantavius White. Mr. White and the defendant live together and have a child together. There are conflicting stories as to what happened, but essentially the defendant and Mr. White were fighting over Mr. White texting other women, and the defendant tried to kick Mr. White out of the house. At some point during that dispute, two women named Andrea and Aisha White showed up to the apartment. Mr. White was outside of the apartment door with Andrea White, who is the other victim in this case. The victims were trying to get back into the apartment, and the defendant threw a glass vase and bleach at them to prevent them from coming inside. The officer noted that he could smell bleach and later saw video footage of the defendant throwing the bleach in the vase at the victims. Our office has not been able to get in touch with either victim at this time. And the state's recommending a signature bond through pretrial services, no further contact with either victim, a stay away from the incident location, FVIP, and no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond. And Your Honor, if you could sound for Dantavius White and Andrea White.
I'm sounding for either victim, last name White. Okay, hearing seen none. Ms. Kim, I'm inclined to do that signature bond through pretrial, require the stay away and no contact. Any objection?
Yes, Your Honor. That place 2900 Laurel Ridge is my client's apartment. Actually, she's the only one who's on the lease, and she actually pays for the rent all by herself. When the incident happened, that was a day that Mr. Dentavis left the apartment. There's nothing there anymore, so he's not going to be returning to her place. So I would like to request that no stay away from her own apartment.
Okay. Defendant will receive a $4,000 signature bond through pretrial at level 1. She is to have no contact with either of the alleged victims in this case. I'm going to order the stay away if Mr. White is still there. She can return one time with law enforcement to make that determination. If he no longer resides there, she's free to return. If he's still living at that location, she must collect her belongings on a one-time basis. Additionally, she's to have no drugs, no alcohol, no weapons. Is there anything additional?
For the
Not from
record,
the state.
for the record, she was not a first primary aggressor. There were 6 of people, gang was attacking her at the
Okay,
time.
well, she's got the signature bond, and or if
Yeah.
Mr. White's not there, she can go back.
Thank
Best
you.
of
Your
luck to
Honor,
you.
break that bond down, please. It's
2,000 each count. I'm sorry. In my
Thank
mind, it was clear. All right, best of luck to you. Is anyone else at ACDC?
Oh, Your Honor, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, now we're back to position 10. Can we turn off the live stream, please?